Like, didn't like some like Isaac Newton or somebody like stare into the sun a ton and like came up with a bunch of inventions?
No.
It's a true thing. Yeah, there's a guy who did that. He went. I'm pretty sure he painted like crazy paintings as he went blind.
That's
No, I'm just saying
I
it was
forget
not
who it
Isaac
is.
Newton. It was not Newton. Newton is like one of the gods of physics, so I
It
don't
wasn't
think.
him then. Yeah, it was some guy. No, I know it's not Newton. I just know some guy did it. Like some Newton-esque fella. Found it.
Man, thank
I
you,
don't like
Hookah Dub, for
I'm
confirming
the only
what
one who
flat
does it.
earthers feel about how globe earthers feel about their scientists.
No,
Yeah, I'm
this is
not
the whole
shocked
reason I
about it.
joined because I do have an open mind, and lately I've been seeing a lot of stuff about flat Earth, and I did some research. Now, just like the show Ancient Aliens, I don't agree with everything they say, but I like to watch that. So this is a new world to me. There were some ideas that I saw online that made me question things as well, but I'm not completely sold out yet. So as soon as I got on TikTok just now and I saw your live, I was like, let me get some answers. Like, how is that? It's not making sense. I bought a telescope earlier this year and I've been looking at planets and all that stuff. Everything around us so far that I've seen, including the moon, is circular shape. So having a disk object, like being the black sheep in the universe, it's just hard to believe. So
Nice.
I
You're
just
super
wanted to
green.
understand.
I can tell you're super green to the debate. Ryan, do you want to handle this one, or do you want me to?
I don't know. I understand what his question was.
It was
I
the
understand what he's.
it was like the first one of the first questions all the globe earthers ask. Why would we be the only flat planet?
Well, okay. That's perceiving that we are the only life on in our puddle. Like we just discovered, I think 42 different species of lemurs or a type of monkey on Madagascar not that long ago. So we discovered life. We discover new life every single day. That we do not know, all the time. So let's say there's life outside of our ice wall because you're so new that you don't even know what you're surrounded by. Water needs a container, which means there's some kind of higher land that's keeping the oceans in. So what's beyond that? Admiral Byrd in 19 in the 1930s. I don't know the specific date. 1920s, 1930s, 40s, whatever. He went to Antarctica or discovered Antarctica and discovered the ice shelf. He went beyond and discovered the ice shelf. And he came back and told everybody, he's like, like a lot of adventure that for people like young and willing or whatever. You'd have to watch the video. Look up the Admiral Richard E. Byrd video 1920s and it'll pop up on YouTube. But you have to do research. I just can't, it's a lot. That's like the beginning though.
Yeah, I recommend you go to flatearthdave.com and go through the Flat Earth Crash Course, and then that's the
I'm
quickest.
so beyond that. I'm trying to figure out the way outside of the ice wall and a way we can amend the Antarctic Treaty so that we can all actually go and adventure these places and make it to where they can't take our resources away like they're doing on the very south border or very south part of the wall that's connecting South America. They're doing that right now. You can look it up on Google Earth. You can look Google Maps, zoom up the very bottom ice wall of South America, and they are basically dismantling that whole shelf, all of it. They're taking all of the cobalt, everything, the fucking everything. They find mountains of coal everywhere, gold, silver, everything.
So my other question is like, so just like assuming that like you're right, like taking your position, like, cause like I don't know, like I don't know, like I just think like my question is like, what do we do if you're right? Like, what do we do? Like, what do we do?
You have to wake everybody up and get everybody on the same page. Votes don't get passed and everybody's not on the same page. Why do you think there's Democrat and Republican? There's two different parties that have to get on the same page. to vote for the same cause, common cause. Okay, and it's going to be very, very hard because you have Christians fighting with the Satanists, and then you have Satanists pushing all this satanic sex stuff on TV and in kids' stories and in kids' cartoons and all this stuff, sexualizing kids, making them demonic. And then already they don't want to read the Bible. And then the Bible teaches them part of the answers. And then it goes deep, man. We would literally have to dismantle.
Okay, so I feel like we covered a lot of topics here.
Oh.
Let's cover one at a time. Let's start with my question. So like, you told me to do some research, right? But like, what I want to know, the reason I joined this live is because I want to know your point of view to help me understand how is it that Earth is the only flat disk object in the universe and others a circle.
No, okay. Listen, if there is land outside of the ice wall, okay, but our land surrounding us is flat and infinite, okay, but infinite means it keeps going, man. So if there's land outside of the ice wall, wouldn't you think there's more suns or there's more, like light that creates more land, something?
All right, so
What do you mean by
I don't think
infinite
that
land?
I don't think like allowing the concept of like a flat Earth is like the first question, I guess, in that, because I think it presupposes a lot of answers about or a lot of questions arise when you put forth a thing like that, because I think what Hookah Dub is trying to get at here, if I could interject for 1 second, it would just be like, what's like the space? Like, what's space then? Like, how do you explain like space in this construct?
Let's
All
be
right, so
honest.
sure.
Let's
Like maybe
let's
like
be
it is a
honest.
flat meteorite.
Space,
Maybe it's a
The-
flat
the-
meteorite. Like,
the reason why the flat Earth is so like controversial is because it is mentioned in the Bible. Okay.
Well, I'm just wondering, like, what's your stance on like what is the sun then if the Earth is like? I'm not taking anybody's
what you're
side.
saying is
I'm
stuff
just
that
asking questions.
scientists and NASA has pressed upon you in videos in school. That's what you were saying. You were taking
No, I'm saying like
science that has been
in your world
made.
structure, like like obviously like the sun's up there, so like I'm just asking, like I'm not trying to disprove anything. I'm just asking, like, in that world frame view where the Earth, like I'm saying, like assuming that the Earth is like a flat asteroid or something, or does space exist? I guess is the next question.
It
Like,
could be the
does
ground
space?
of the
Do you believe in
universe.
space? Do you believe in the universe? But so like Earth is a flat asteroid. Is
No,
it floating in space, or is it on
completely
the Earth's
different model.
bag?
So you're thinking
It seems like
Yeah,
of
some
that's like
sort of
what
the thing
model?
foundation.
behind me. You're thinking of the thing behind me, which I kind of did to kind of trigger some people to get people in here, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it looks cool. But
Well, I'm
no,
just
it's
asking,
flat,
like, where is the
flying in
moon? Like,
space in the
what
basement of the
is the
universe.
moon fake? Is the moon fake though? Like, or
It
is
doesn't
the
have to be.
sun real, or is the
So
moon
look,
real, or like in this
so
model?
let's
Like,
make it
what's the
super
model?
simple. The lights in the sky don't have anything to do with the shape in the floor. If I asked you to measure the shape of your floor based on the shape of your lights, you would come up with something completely different, and it would be stupid to even try to do that. So I don't know. The only reason why you try to do it with the Earth is because that's what the Ryan was trying to tell you. You're thinking about things that were implanted upon you in school, so you have to open your mind up to a
So
completely different
Not
world.
just
no, I'm
that,
opening
Right.
my mind. I'm saying, like,
but
I agree with you. You
supposedly
have to open up your mind,
supposedly
right?
the Earth is
is the
spinning,
Earth a
right?
flat asteroid? Like,
Hold
is it a
on.
flat asteroid?
I've already
Is that
answered
how
that,
you're
bro.
trying to say? Like,
You
every
keep
other thing
It's some
asking,
about
sort
keep
of
asking, and I'm
space
going
foundation.
to kick you.
It's some sort of foundation. That's why we can stand on it. Now, if the
but is
Earth
it in
is
space?
if the Earth is supposedly spinning, right, and then we're spinning around the sun, and then the sun is spinning around some other orbit, so there's a lot of things spinning super super fast. But yet, every time we look at the stars, they seem to be in the same spot. For
So
instance,
are
the
you just saying?
Polaris star.
But
So
is space
how in
real?
the
Like that?
world, if this go ask yourself this, if we're spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning, how the heck in the world do we have the Polaris star?
Because we are not
Well, what if
spinning.
it's flat
Because
and
we're
spinning?
not spinning.
Or maybe it's
Exactly.
not spinning. All right, it's flat and it's in space and it's not spinning. But where? But like, so is? But is like, are there other
No, dude,
circular
nobody said it
bodies
was
in
in space, man.
space?
You're not
Or like,
listening.
well, I'm
We're
asking. Do
not
you
spinning.
do
I
I've
don't
believe
already,
know. Like
I've
that's
already.
trying to establish?
The thing
you're
is, man,
asking
I
the wrong
answered it,
person.
and you're just not listening. We're the basement of the universe.
So
Space is
space is,
fake.
but like space. I'm talking about space, like the sun. You know how like the layman Like, I'm just a layman here. I'm just asking, like, I'm trying to get a grasp on this. Like, do I, like, say you've convinced me, like, what do I go tell people who presuppose the conventional
I don't know
model?
what you do with
Okay, hey
yourself.
guys, let's start asking him questions, because if he wants to know answers, we have to ask him questions and figure out what he thinks first. Okay, so how big do you think the sun is?
Oh man,
Well, all I
I
can
think it's as
speak
big as
to is
I could see it.
conventional model, right? So, like,
Do you
like,
think we
so
are
if I
bigger than our sun, or do you think our sun is bigger than us?
well, I mean,
so
if
here,
I'm
here, let me answer this question real quick. How big is the sun? Allow me to answer this, please. So, when you look at an object, right? Let's say you're standing on the street, Ryan. You look like you're outside, right? Look
Oh
at the
yeah.
street. Look far away right now. Now, when you look far away, do you see a car?
No, I'm seeing cars right now. Oh yeah, I do.
Okay. When you see the car, can you fit it in between two of your fingers right now because it's so far away from you?
Definitely.
Okay, but when you approach the car and get near, you definitely can fit that in
No.
between your fingers, right? Because it's so big. So
True.
to answer the question, how big do you think the sun is? Because it is so bright and it's so far away that I can fit it between my fingers, that means it's extremely far. For me, I feel like it's probably 100 times bigger than the Earth for it to reach the light all the way from there, that power, that energy to us, to provide us with light.
I'll just interject.
No.
Would it be possible for the sun to be half as big and half as far, and it still look the same size?
When you have a
No, I highly
campfire,
doubt that.
don't you have to be close
A
to the
small ball
campfire?
cannot produce energy like that. The ball has to be big enough to produce enough energy to provide light around the objects around it. Now, you can take an
No.
example of a flashlight. A flashlight, how far does your flashlight go? Anybody? Any flashlight you have, how far does it
Mine
go?
goes far. I have like
It's got a limit,
over
right?
1,000 lumens.
It does have a
Yeah.
limit, but the sun does not have a limit. That means the sun has to be large enough for the light to reach all the way out here to us.
But you're still
It,
assuming that it
You,
has to
you guys
be
seem like critical
infinitesimally
thinkers,
far. It
so
could just be really close.
I'm gonna share something with you really quick. All right, because see, the the Earth being flat is so controversial because it comes from the Bible. Now, if people could disprove that it's not flat, then
If
they
they
can
could prove
disprove a
it didn't
lot of
come from
things.
the Bible,
But let me tell you
then it
this
would
one.
be
All right,
different.
let me tell you this one thing. Science just proved that we're made out of the same components as dirt, right? And a lot of people say, well, dirt has a lot of broad components, but regardless, these people wrote this
We
over 2,000 years ago, and science is barely finding this out. Okay,
Why do they do
so
tests on chimps? It's because
huh?
we're most like chimps, right? So if
I'm
they
not a
say
chimp. Maybe you are, but I'm
we
definitely not.
all are. If
comedy night.
we
Um,
are so like
well, maybe you're talking to
Well,
the
let's not
we're
name. This isn't a
lucky.
fight
maybe.
debate.
All right, I'm sorry, but
Talking.
look,
All right.
another
So
thing.
my question,
Look,
I guess.
hold on, one more thing, and I'll get out of your hair. The Bible also said that the Euphrates was going to dry up, and right now it's actually drying up, and they
Crazy.
wrote that over 2,000 years ago. Now,
Well,
these things
maybe that's our cycle, our
are
reset.
pointing towards the Creator. All right, things don't just happen just cause. There's no such thing as a coincidence.
Cause and effect.
Okay.
So
So
you
talk- I
and
can.
these are facts.
I mean,
These are straight
well, I mean,
facts.
or at least it's a base. I'm not. I'm just using words because it's all I have. I'm like I
Yeah,
said. I'm just a layman here. I haven't made up my mind.
right.
Convince me either way. So I'm just saying, like, this is a question for everybody. I guess is like if we have a model that's established right now, and we decide to throw that model out, right, and then we want to introduce this new model. How do we explain the things that are explained by the old model without using that terminology, like that nomenclature?
The model's been around since beginning of time, man.
Yeah, but if we're
The
gonna
model
throw
hasn't
away
changed
one
much.
That
of
I just really wanted to speak some facts, So that's really it. To each
All of
its
our
own.
models were developed because people were sailing, and so people are
And
sailing. They need a
so we're gonna
nautical map.
start
They
over
need
then.
a naval
I
map.
left you
So
guys
we
with
just start
something here
over.
I wish you could ponder upon, but
Gleason's new
I'm a,
standard map is probably the best map.
you guys have a good rest of
Well,
your day, okay? God
Oh,
bless you
well.
all
guys.
right,
Thanks
man.
for coming on.
All right, bye bye.
Later.
I got a guest box that's filling up, so I got to start cycling.
Yeah, so my only thing, I guess, is like if we have a way of looking at the world, or like the average person has one, like how would we expect to bring people around to like the true way of looking at the world, whatever way it is, if people are already made up their mind, I guess, or like
Yep,
without
they have.
using like we have
Yep.
if things are limited, like the only language and like references, only reference things that are already around, like I mean that's a big question. I mean, and I just use one thing as an example, like if there's like a presupposed model of the way that the world works, that like, or the way that not even like the world, I hate to use that word because I know it's like the point of discussion here. So like, I'm not trying to talk about like, I'm not even talking about the shape of the world. I'm saying like, whoever's right, then they have the responsibility of like explaining the unexplainable, like beyond that. So it's like whoever's
The thing
right
is
actually is
that
going to end up
we're always assuming.
responsibility of it.
Huge problem, man, is that we're always assuming that we're going to be able to explain every single phenomena, and there might be the possibility that we're just not smart enough or capable of doing that. Um, the one thing that I agree with
Yeah.
on science is that we're supposed to just get as close as we can, and you know, basically try to use something that works the best, and fits reality the best. And the thing is that when we start talking about flat Earth, there are tons of observations and evidence that support that. And then when you get looking into the globe Earth evidence, it's nothing more than begging the question fallacies, appeals to authority, and pictures from NASA, which they've admitted are Photoshop. So,
Hey, I'm not even like talk about the topic honestly, because like it doesn't even matter like it's to the point that I'm trying to like talk about, like, 'cause I understand like I'm not like dismissing what you're saying, or I'm not endorse I'm just glad that I'm honestly, thanks for I'll be the first one to say thanks for using your platform to at least like let people have their opinion and stuff, and I just appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. Thank
But what I'm like, yeah, and it's cool. But like what I was gonna ask is just like, or what I wanted to at least you think it's like the whole postmodern thing now is sort of like people are trying to like reconsider definitions and stuff, which is like gonna happen with like the experiment that like especially like the West is using going under right now. Like it's like a trying to like reconsider old models, and like certain things are false that people believed in forever. I mean, if you think one of them's the Earth is round, then that's a good. I mean, you're at least thinking along the right lines of like how do we make sense of the world in a postmodern. There's a lot of other things that people are worried about now, like reconsidering definitions and shit. It's like when we throw away the old definitions, like I'm just wondering, like, I mean, it's a dangerous road to go down to try to figure out like how we're gonna make sense of the world once we actually do have to give up our toys. Like considering you're right. I mean, if you're right, that's that's like that's devastatingly like frightening, because it's like, oh my god, like the trees are talking, and like everybody's gonna run around like what if the news literally said that tomorrow, like just told them the real truth, like whatever you guys know that I don't know, like that's pretty gnarly stuff. Like that's pretty gnarly, and like imagine it's like somebody coming to like know even like the most like layman thing that you could think of. Like it's not, they don't even have to reach like level 20 or whatever level you have to reach like to get in like your knowledge level up. Like you have to get like extra knowledge points and shit through your life, and eventually you have to like reach like a certain and like if they start at level 1, like they're like most people are at like level like negative 20. You know what I mean? And they gotta like just figure out like basic math and shit like first or something. I don't know. Like it's
I
like
gotta ask
not
something to Ryan real quick,
ready.
if you don't mind.
Oh sure.
Yeah, thank you. So Ryan, earlier we were talking, and you said there's infinite land and light is provided for that, right? Now I just want to clear up what did you mean by infinite land? Did you mean that Earth is an infinite land?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have traveled around the world. I'm from India, right? I've been to every continent so far. And as far as the airplane went, I have gone in a full circle. So, well, to have infinite land,
That's
like
the
I've
only
gone
way
in
they're gonna let you.
to the same position I left at. So that confuses me about infinite land, because if I'm going to infinite land from point A to point whatever, I should not reach back to the point I started from, right?
You've never been on a free expedition, right? You've always followed like flight paths and the paths traveled and paid for, right?
Of course, yeah. I mean, that's
You
commercial
can go
planes. But I mean,
around your neighborhood. It doesn't make your neighborhood a ball. If you
we
look
all
at
do
east and west
our
on
own
the if you look
planes.
at
If you
east
want
and
to plane,
west on
I
the
don't
globe
want to
and
plane.
flat Earth map, they make circles.
Right. So like I don't own a plane, you don't own a plane. Like to find the answer is hard. So for someone who's flown around the world in a commercial plane, at least I can see and tell you what I have seen from my experience. So I was just telling Ryan my experience, what I've experienced myself as a child who's grown up, as I've flown across the world. And I'm just trying to find out what he meant by his theory about infinite land, because that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, you
If
can't.
there's
The
infinite,
thing is you've never flown over Antarctica, and that's where you need to go to get to the more land, right? I'm gonna guess
Yeah,
that you've never flown
where
directly
is the
over
land
Antarctica.
there? Why are there people from that land contacting people on this part of the land?
Repeat that.
You mean like
So you
infinite
said that
miles?
more land
Like
past the wall of Antarctica. So you're proving the theory that it's infinite land. I get that. So if there is more land past Antarctica, that means there should be more people. Why is it that we have zero communication through people over there, but we can communicate within our land
Maybe on
with
different
wireless
stuff.
technology?
The thing is that Admiral Byrd actually went over there and apparently claimed that there was people over there, but regardless, I'm not really sure. I don't know for sure if there is infinite land or not. I just know that just because we're not in contact with anybody over there doesn't mean that there's not anybody over there. They could have their own government systems that keep them away from their ice wall. We just don't know.
Okay.
But there
Yeah,
are
you have to
all right,
understand
maybe
anything past
areas like the
Antarctica
Ice
is
Republic
speculation.
that actually talk
like I'm
about going
actually
through the ice
how
wall and
big is
finding one of these continents. But
the
I don't
thing is, we
know, it's
can't go there.
old.
The Antarctic Treaty prevents anyone from traveling, and now the real shit that's going right now is Christians. Most Christians will not get vaccinated, okay? And that's because of their beliefs. Now they have these travel bans on anybody who has not been either quarantined, tested, or vaccinated. Okay, which means I can't leave the country to even go and find out for myself on someone's you know uh, private yacht or cruise ship or something that they're gonna go on a on a private excursion and go against the Antarctic Treaty or something. I can't even go there and try.
Okay.
you
So
need
I
a
know
lot
about
of money.
the treaty. The Antarctica Treaty does not stop people from traveling. I know
Oh,
that much because there's a lot of doctors, PhD scientists who travel there to do their studies. I just watched a
Yeah,
documentary.
get
A
enough
guy
money,
goes there every
right?
year to do studies in Antarctica to find out, whatever he needs to find out.
In order
So
to
the
go
whole
to
I think
in order to go to anywhere
wow.
that's not the bases, you do
documentary
have
that I
to have
watched was
special
about
permission.
he was trying to find why there is warm water under Antarctica.
Good on
That's
you.
why he went to study there, and they showed all the mechanics and everything. Again, that was on TV. So, but
Good
he goes
on you.
there every. So as far as I know,
yeah,
the
I think if
Antarctica
you had
Treaty
enough
does
money,
not
you could go.
stop people from visiting there. It does not stop them.
And so here's what
Dude,
you're
It
not
does.
Antarctica
understanding. It stops
vacation
people from
is not.
exploring. So you actually have to get special permission. At least here in the USA
Right? Yeah.
specifically, you have to get permission from the EPA to take even any kind of gasoline. How are you going to do
Yeah.
any kind of exploration if you can't even take gasoline or have any kind of
Wait,
equipment?
you
You
need
have to pay thousands of
you need
dollars
money.
for the
Exactly.
application.
We are
In their
all
own words, they said
we are
You
it
need
all
takes
billions.
time
Custodians.
or whatever
You
Listen,
need
reason.
we are all
billions of
So
dollars.
you
Custodians.
say that we're not prevented from traveling, but we are prevented from traveling, and from not just because of
Not if you
the
have
physical
billions of
barriers,
dollars.
but there's
You could
literally
do it
something
if you
in
had
there that
billions.
says that you can't go past the 60th parallel. So all the countries have that you
They
can't
made it.
freely travel
They made
past
it to
the
where we
60th
can't
parallel south.
chop down trees and build a vessel ourselves. They
You
made
could
it to where
build
we
it if you had
can't sit up on a.
enough money.
They
Why
said
does
we
nobody say
can't
that?
sit up on a
You could
fucking piece
do
of
that.
land, use all the trees around, create a fucking a voyage, a fucking and go. We can't do that
That's
because
because they're
all
owned.
the
That's because they're owned
regulations and
by
shit
people
that
who have
we've
more money.
created.
That's just because people have more money and they own those trees,
It's,
and they won't let you
dude,
cut
you're
down
getting
their trees. They have more money.
money is creation also.
I mean, shit. That's the only way you could get to the ice wall is if you had enough cash.
Yeah,
You could
no argument
definitely
here.
check out what's over there. You you could go put up a ladder and check it out if you just had the right permit. You could go get to the bottom of it.
I wonder if
Maybe
y'all
they're
ever
trying to
seen the
convince us
documentary of
because
Last Person who tried to go all the way across the ice wall, across the ice continent. It was a lady. This was like back in the '60s, and she just disappeared. You know, who knows what happened to her?
yeah.
But you know, there are
Oh,
people who
Yeah,
tried.
that happened to my uncle.
Amelia
That
Earhart,
happened to my
huh?
No, I
uncle.
wasn't her.
No. I'm saying her too, though. Like, you know, she was probably like, you know what, fuck this. I'm gonna see if the world's fucking flat. Like, I don't know. Crazy shit back then, man.
I thought she got wrapped up in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah. Which is, you know, probably the opposite side of, or the negative side of the magnetic pole, because there has to be a
What do you guys
positive
think
and a
about
negative.
What do you guys think about portals?
Portals.
Yeah.
I've never seen one, so how am I supposed to, you know? I've never seen the edge of the earth either.
Buy
You
a
know,
telescope. I'm telling you, bro, telescopes are awesome. You can see a lot of shit in space if you have a telescope. Like, it's ridiculously
Sometimes,
awesome.
yeah.
yeah, I
Sometimes
could
I
look
think
on my
about like
profile. I took some dope
vortexes.
ass pictures of the moon. Yeah.
Well, the thing
Yeah.
is, for me, like I come with research when I come to talk, right? Like the reason I joined this chat was because I'm looking outside. I bought a telescope. I do research online. I look at documentaries about a lot of things. So like so far, I haven't gotten an answer. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go do some research, and I gotta ask the host, how often are you online so I can come back and talk to you guys in the future?
Monday through
Yeah. I'll
Wednesday.
follow you, bro.
I usually start at 9
Monday
p.m.,
through
but I
Wednesday.
was a little late today.
Okay, I'm in Kansas, so like it was around 8 you started. So yeah, all right, so I'll join you guys next Monday, and we'll have a good chat then. Because right now I feel like I'm missing a lot of information. I don't remember the doctor's name I was telling you about who goes there every year to Antarctica to do studies. So I'm gonna find his name out as well, and then I would love to join you guys next time, share some more information, and learn more about what I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah.
This is just amazing.
Sure.
Look up
So
Yeah,
Rabbi
find out what part
Finkelstein.
specifically he goes to Antarctica. Find out what permissions he had to have, or if they even go through that. I bet they won't even go through that at all because they try to make it seem like just
we got,
anybody can go.
we got
But we all know that that's
I
bullshit.
the
Look up
doctors
Google as
give
we're
me some
talking.
permissions. I'll
Hey,
definitely bring all the
you
sources.
need
I'll
to.
have my computer up and everything, so I'll show you guys everything on screen and all
You
that good
can go
stuff.
to
So
Google as we're talking.
I'm gonna follow you
All
right
right, man.
now. I'm
If
gonna
you,
follow the host. That way, I know when you're live next time, and then I'm gonna join you guys next Monday and have more great chats with you guys.
yeah, I'd
See
say
you
if
then,
you like
man.
For
documentaries,
sure.
go
Appreciate
find
you jumping
Flatten the
on.
Curve.
All right. So let's talk about portals and
Portal
vortexes and orbs.
frequency,
Yeah.
sound waves,
It's,
the pull of the
yeah. You
moon
know,
and the sun
space,
to the north, like the
yeah.
very
There's
creation of
space.
life itself. Sound.
There's
Without
yeah. There's
sound, there
space
would
in
be nothing.
atoms. You know, right? Like we could start there. Space in between. There's space, right?
Space doesn't exist, but yeah, go ahead.
Space
Space
is in like the
exists for
space
sure.
between you and me, or like you mean outer
Well,
space?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's where space starts. Realistically, it starts on the subatomic level. There's space in between everything, just like there's space in between two, two existent space. I mean, it's the word is valid. I mean, the word
Okay, I get it. I'm
applies.
not touching you. I'm not touching you. There's space in between us. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. What you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, so that's where space starts. So space exists just the same way it exists, like on the subatomic level as it does going
Well,
all the way. Like there's space is just distance between more space, really, because I think and the further in you go, everything is space, right? I don't think you could
yeah.
disagree with that. It's like there's if you agree that on the subatomic level thing. So yeah,
You
I
can't
think that
see
when the
subatomic
the
growth.
leading quantum physics does say the thing. I mean, what did Tesla say that if you want to understand the nature of reality, you think in terms of
That's because,
frequency and
just
vibration.
so you know, that's because Tesla thought everything was waves. He was using a completely different physics than you're using. We use something that actually comes from the cult of atomism. I'm not really sure when that started exactly. I have to do a little bit more research, but it's really old. It's nothing new. And the other idea of physics is that everything was actually made of electromagnetic waves. And then if you even look at like mainstream science, they say that that's like what the I'm pretty sure that's what they say the force is between the electrons and nucleus, anyway, is the electromagnetic
What
force.
do
So
you think? I, I don't know. For some reason, think of like vibration or like sound. equation shit, I'm able to like I'm able to like kind of wrap my I don't know quantum physics down, but I'm pretty sure once the two theories like get close enough to each other, they're like almost indistinguishable. Like I know there's probably conflicting schools of thought when it comes to like quantum physics on like on like a subatomic level. So like, but I'm just talking about the concept of like establishing the word space as a word that you can use in a conversation without like without just completely invalidating the the terminology. I mean, isn't completely out of it's that's the basis really is being able to communicate. Words are too abstract to like invalidate words that are already pre-established. You know, otherwise you'd have to completely create a new language.
Sure. So what's the what point are you getting at though?
Well, I'm just saying like the discarding words sort of like anti-intellectualism that like is sort of rotting away at humanity right now. I mean, I would identify anti sort of like you can't throw away words. You have to like, name the words yourself and like and be able to use them to communicate with people because like you know if that's like our only method of get I don't know where you're trying to get.
Where are you
I guess I'm
getting
just
at?
defending the language. I said like space really shit. I mean that's a pretty dark
The
thing to say.
space
Like so you want to get rid
between
of that
these open up.
I mean, I don't
I
think
say it's
dude.
anybody
hard to
is going
understand. His
out with it. I
audio's
mean,
cutting.
I don't know who's doing
Oh my
that.
yeah, I don't have anything.
Where's,
I mean,
welcome to the stream,
I don't,
Bit
yeah,
8513. What you got for us?
Oh, hey man. I saw the flat Earth stuff. Are you a flat earther?
Yep.
Just two concepts I wanted to like talk about. One is it has to do with like a flat Earth map. I'm curious, you know, why if we have like satellite imagery versions of Google Earth, of spherical Earth, and I can like zoom in and see my house and stuff. Why hasn't anyone built like a proper to scale interactable map of a flat Earth? That's idea one, and idea two is just plotting the sunlight and nighttime at any given time on a flat Earth map. If you like actually draw out like what parts of the Earth are daytime right now and nighttime right now on a flat Earth map, you end up getting a really bizarre shape. I
So
wonder if
I'm
you've
confused.
heard about that
You
or
know,
looked into
I understand your questions. I just kind of want to get to it. First off, I'm confused because you're saying, well, why don't we have a map? But then you go on to refer to a flat Earth map, and it doesn't make sense. So I'm just curious of which is it. Second would be, um, you're gonna have to repeat what was the whole question again? What was that
it.
first question you
I
asked?
yeah, maybe I misspoke. I didn't mean to say you don't have a flat Earth map. What I mean is like you don't have like a
Oh,
Google Earth
interactive. Yeah,
equivalent
it's a
with like satellite imagery,
yeah,
like where I
it's a
can
matter
zoom in
of
and see
money.
things.
It's just a matter of money. I mean, if you look at the total amount of flat earthers versus the amount of money that goes into the budget of everything else, it's just night and day. So you're asking a bunch of broke
Not
people basically to
not
come
really.
together
Like I'm
and do
I'm a
something.
software I'm a software engineer, and I can tell you it's not like a matter of money. Like it might be a matter of time.
dude.
Are you
Maybe a few
kidding?
months.
So
I
hold
could
on,
put
Well,
we're
they're
talking
together.
about
saying
like
that
we want something real,
almost
right? You're talking about real imagery, real
again,
interactive stuff.
Aiden.
I mean, we're gonna have to actually
But
set something up. We're gonna have to actually take pictures, and then we're
well,
gonna
you
and then
can.
the
So you
software comes
hold on.
after. But we're
Hold
going
on a
to get
second.
something
Wait.
up there.
Hold on a second. So let's say we don't. Let's say we rely on what you're skeptical of the imagery that is provided by that's sourced by, let's say, Google Earth or Bing Maps or stuff like that. But you can clearly see there's not distortion when you zoom in on those pictures. I can put a measuring tool out, measure the
Well,
length
there's
of my
actually
street.
so there's a little bit of a fallacy there because you're assuming that it's just a straight shot Google Earth. I actually have Google Earth on my phone. I use it all the time, for fun videos and stuff like that. But here's the thing. they can transpose it onto a ball. We can agree that that's not a literal like image of, or a literal picture of the ball. It's definitely a digital generated thing that we can use for navigation. You spin it around or whatever. It's interactive. And when you pull in, when you actually get to a certain height, which is a good ways up, it actually switches views. And now you're looking at something completely different. So it's not like
Okay,
you're
but hold on a second. Hold on a second.
No, that's not true.
Hold on a second. But you could, but if you hold on a second. So if you really thought that they switched data when you zoom out, you could just write code your own Google Earth where you don't switch the data when you zoom out,
Well,
and
we try to
actually
get something out
apply
there, bro.
the.
That's what I'm saying. We don't want.
They
All
hide
right,
so
so
much
we
on
all know.
Google Earth. They hide military bases. They hide fucking the walls, the
That's
fucking construction, the
that's
fucking
irrelevant.
Well,
shipments.
hey,
All
Okay,
right,
that's
that's
irrelevant.
irrelevant to
there,
the topic at
oh,
hand. We're
there,
talking about like
there's
geometry here.
It's
We're
not.
talking about
They
geometry.
hide
We're talking
so
about
much on
geometry.
you
Google
know,
Earth.
like,
They hide
Hey,
so much. You can't tell
oh
me
my
that it's
God.
not fake. Like,
Coach, you gotta
We're talking about
moderate the
math
chat.
and geometry,
How
not about
people
whether or not
talk.
there's a base hidden.
where
Do you
you guys
understand
at
the
right now?
topic? Or
Because
you're
I
changing
can
the
see the
topic?
full sun right now on this
You're
flat
changing the
ether.
topic. I'm talking about geometry and math. You're talking about hiding a base.
Have
There's
you?
two different
The
topics here.
host needs
So
to
Like
getting
people
back
moderate
to
the
talk.
chat.
geometry and
I
math,
think
They
they
have
to
to
kind of
talk,
organize.
address
man.
your question, have you ever been to the Flat Earth Dave, flatearthdave.com?
No,
Flat
is that relevant to
It
somehow?
is. Because on it, you can get access to an app that actually has like a mock up Flat Earth sun and moon tracker, has the time zones, and it all works.
Yeah, but they just show the moon. I've seen those models before, a flat Earth, moon, and sun going around, but they haven't actually
No, it's not
plotted.
like
Like
that.
what I'm
No,
saying
if
is,
you go to the
so
actual Sun Moon
do,
app, if you find that on the
no,
flatearthdave.com, you'll actually see a working model of a
it's
working thing.
it's working in the sense that it's like moving around, but they're not accurately showing. So hear me out for a second. Hear me out for a second. Do you if I said like, hey, someone in Paris, France, what time does the sun set tonight? Do you accept that there's like available data, accurate data on that, or do you think there's a conspiracy just about like what
More or
time
less.
the sun sets and rises in any given place?
I think it's relatively accurate. Yeah, sure. The sun sets at the time that they say.
Okay,
Sure.
this is what I'm asking you to do is like look at the globe model of like what places in the world right now on the globe model currently the sun is either setting or rising, and then Google that to verify that, yeah, Paris, France right now the sun is setting or whatever, right? And then look at your flat Earth model and connect the dots. List a bunch of cities where the sun is setting and connect the dots, and you're going to get a very bizarre shape. It's not like a circular shape that
He's
like
gonna say
a
pear
source of
shape.
light
Get
would
out of
cast.
here. Get out of here. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Well,
Do
I
you want
mean,
to kick me
I
out
guess
because
like,
you're afraid
you
of
can't throw out
Egypt?
everything. Thing.
I'm not kicking
Like, you
anybody
can't
out.
just completely throw out
Okay, well,
everything.
this other
No,
guy
that's not kick
who
him. I
doesn't
say,
know how to stay on topic and talks over people wants to kick me out.
No, I'm
I
saying
didn't say kick him
should,
out.
the host should tell people who can talk now. Just like that way we won't talk over each other. Like if
I'm
everybody's
willing
talking
to take
at the
turns. I've been getting talked over, so
I haven't
yeah,
been
that's
able
what
to
I'm
talk.
saying.
I'm just listening.
I know because like you can't get blurred in edgewise. So you guys
You're not
say
asking any
talk.
questions.
yeah. But I'm just getting you to think about the like
So
if you can still take
before I
the
would
you can
even
take the
entertain it, I
satellite
would like you to
imagery.
show me
Oh,
that it doesn't work out
take a
because
globe model that was
if you
indoctrinated
brought
in
it.
schools in the 1920s. Like, so dumb, man.
Moderator, are you going to
All right.
moderate this guy?
Yeah, I'm gonna dip anyway. I gotta do something. But thanks for the talk. Maybe one host, maybe one guest at a time. Next time. It'll make it so people don't talk over. It's just hard. It's hard when it's like video chat to like know who's gonna talk next, especially when I can't mute myself and unmute it and shit. But
Yeah,
It is
TikTok
always
needs
hard
to get
with
it
like
a
guys.
little
five
bit better
people. It's
figured
really
out because when somebody's talking, I can't hear. When multiple people are talking, I can't hear who's talking. It like basically mutes everybody.
Oh yeah.
right.
Well, anyway,
When I host chats, I only
hey,
allow one or two people in and set rules.
yeah, too many people. Anyway, guys, have a good day. Leave. Bye.
Sure, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, man. See you.
So
You guys see
So
the
I'm
sun
sorry,
move?
I didn't get to hear what you were saying in response to me about the sunset sunrise data and plotting that.
Oh yeah. First off, I'd like you to show it to me. Second, even if you did show it, you could factor in refraction and all that good stuff. And I would say that the lights don't mean anything about the shape of the floor. I would then follow up with a question about: is the sun changing speeds, or is it a constant speed?
I thought this wasn't a
Okay,
debate.
but I mean, if the sun's changing speeds, would that cause a light source to cast a light like shape that is oddly shaped?
Well, why are you assuming that it's casting a shape that is oddly shaped?
Because if you currently take all the places in the world that are daylight and all the places in the world that are nighttime right now, and you kind of shade in on a flat Earth map, look, all these shaded areas, it's nighttime in the world, right? The sun's not up.
I
You're
mean,
gonna
I've
get
seen
a
that several times. I've never thought anything wrong with it. I mean, I've seen a cool hard logic video that tried to say that there was something wrong with it and that there needed to be a light shape, but that was a complete and utter straw man.
I mean, you could do the experiment yourself. It's not like that much time intensive, but you will
No,
get
that's
an
not an
odd shape.
experiment. You're not isolating any variable. It's an observation.
Well, no, it's an experiment. It's an experiment on the proposed flat Earth map to test its accuracy.
I mean, we literally have a working thing with the that tells you exactly where the sun is over the flat Earth map, and it works. It works perfectly fine. And you said that you haven't even been to
I
it
don't I
or
have to
seen
take
it.
a look at whatever model you're referring to, but the ones that I've seen, it's just a digital animation
Yeah,
of
that's
like
not the one I'm
the
talking
Earth
about.
and the
I'm
sun
talking
moving
about the Flat
around.
Earth Sun and Moon Zodiac app. Go on flatearthdave.com and you can find it.
Okay, but I mean, setting that aside, that's like a different topic from what I'm bringing
No,
up, which is
that's
just
the same topic. If you plot
the
where the
light
sun is,
cast.
you're
It's
assuming
what the
that it's a
light is
weird
doing
shape
to
because
cast
you're
onto the Earth.
assuming the ball shape and that the sun's only covering like a certain amount. But I'm saying if you literally shade it in, I mean, I've never seen anything wrong with it. And if you do, please show me.
Like if I held a flashlight above a flat map and I
Just show
pointed the
me.
flashlight.
You're making the claim. I want to see what you're talking about so that I better understand.
Okay, okay. It's I don't have it like ready for you right here, but but if you take like a flashlight, right, and you have a flat map out and you hold the flashlight above the map and point it at the map, aren't you
Exactly.
going to get sort of a point of light? And if anything, like you can maybe get oval shapes if you tilt the source
But
of light.
that doesn't take in refraction of light or anything, and we know that there's water in the air. So I mean, unless you is refraction not a thing in your model?
Okay, you think moisture in the air is refracting light
Absolutely.
to a degree that would cause uh well then you wouldn't have a consistent sunset.
Why is it now colder now that it's like been
I
30
don't think
minutes
we
and
do
the
have a
sun's
consistent
still
sunset.
there? It's because it's farther
Sorry, I
away.
can't hear you over this bumbling idiot.
God, it's like simple fucking like kid stuff.
Look, it's simple like politeness, man. Like take turns.
Well,
God.
what was your question again? I'm sorry.
I don't know how much further we could go on that topic. But you said
Oh,
refraction was
the
accounted
time
for.
report. I'm sorry. The sun. I said you said so the sun that we wouldn't have some consistent sunsets then. So I'll
Right,
double
because
back. Is
the moisture content in the atmosphere changes day to day, location to location.
mhm.
But yet we can predict exactly what the sunset's going to be in like a year from now at any given location. We have that precise of ability to predict what when the
Actually,
sunset.
there's articles right now that you can look at that say that the days are getting longer and science don't know why, and they're trying to equate that to the spin of the Earth, even though the spin of the stars isn't getting
That
slower.
that doesn't change what I said, which is that we can predict when the sunset's going to
If they're
happen,
wrong, if they're saying they're getting
even if the days are getting
wrong, they're
longer.
basically saying
They're
their
accounting.
predictions are wrong and that they're off and that it's slower than they predicted.
No, they're taking in. If they think the days are getting longer, then they're taking that into account in their predictions. And then when you Google what time does the sun set next year, April 3rd, and it tells you, uh, that's an accurate prediction.
Also, I would say that the sunset is not the same as where all the light reaches because we've all seen the sunset and it still be daylight outside. So we're talking about two different things,
Yeah,
basically.
I'm simplifying the concept of like where you would see on the Earth a distinct line between places on Earth that are receiving direct sunlight and places on Earth that are not.
Yeah,
I agree that
that
there's
works
like a
perfect on the
transition.
flat Earth. That works perfect on the flat Earth map.
Okay, my
If we're
only
talking about
point
direct
is
sight to the sun, then that works perfectly fine.
okay, my only point there is just that if you actually draw it out, you're going to get kind of a blobby, and even if you animate over, like let's say you play a 24-hour clock and animate the map of where sunlight is hitting the Earth directly, you're gonna that blob of a shape that you're going to see is going to morph because the
This is
reason
why
being
it's so hard.
is because the flat Earth model skews or squishes and
Ugh.
expands part of the Earth. The coordinates. I assume you're using the model of flat Earth where the center is the North Pole. It's
AE.
called, I think, like a polar projection.
That's basically an AE.
An AE. What's an AE?
Azimuthal equidistant projection.
Yes, yeah. That's the one. Azimuth equidistant from polar projection, something like that. Where the North Pole is the center, right, and the South Pole is the edges.
Yep.
Um, Yeah, but that map, because it's not an accurate representation of a round Earth, you're going to get
Damn.
parts that are squeezed together and expanded from each other. And that's why I'm
Yeah,
bringing up the
yeah.
topic of like Google Earth, because if you actually take imagery that isn't all squished together and you put it into your model and you build a computer model that it's like a Google Earth but a flat Earth version, you're going to end up zooming in, even though you're the one that coded it and you know there's no deception. You're going to have to end up squeezing houses or expanding
Yeah,
houses in
I'm
order to
sorry,
make
but
that stuff.
I can't even begin to accept that claim because, for one, it's never been done. For two, you certainly haven't done it. And if you're going to assert
Yeah,
something, you're going to have to bring the evidence for it.
it's a few months of work, like it would probably take me 3-6 months of coding to actually knock that out, but it wouldn't cost me a dime to do it. And even if you doubt the data from Google Earth, if you zoom in, right, I can take all the Google Earth images are in little tiles,
If you
little like
doubt
JPEG images, right?
the
So can I
CGI,
finish? Can I finish, man?
you're hilarious,
Uh,
dude. You're
can
hilarious.
I?
I love you.
Can,
When
is
you
that?
when you wake
Do you
up,
have any?
hey,
Do you
I'm
debate
so
at all?
gonna
Or are
be
you
there.
just gonna like insult me and interrupt?
I'm
Interrupt
not.
me just to insult me.
Oh, it's just a little
How?
bit
That's
of
being
banter, man. Don't be too
hilarious.
hard on it.
Why do you interrupt so much, man?
I thought it was a good time. My place was right there when you guys were like splitting topics or something.
Can I finish my thought and then you can go?
Oh yeah, dude, I'm here with you the whole time. Go
Oh,
ahead.
all right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, going to the Google Earth topic, like you were saying, you question like the authenticity of it,
No,
but
it's clearly
all
digital.
these.
It's just
Guys,
if you
I
Well,
try
got a
to say
phone
that
call.
that's a
I'm
real
out.
image, then we can't
It's
even have a conversation about it because it's obviously digital.
But you can
all of
you can
you.
validate that the image is accurate just by going out to your neighborhood and like measuring distances down the street and whatnot. And then
Ooh,
once you
distance.
know the distance, can you please stop interrupting me? Can you
There's
please
no
shut the
curve.
fuck up?
There's proven no curve.
Is
Proven.
that all
It's
you
been
have to
proven.
say? Is just that you're just gonna interrupt me to yell, "It's proven, it's proven," man? You're like
You know,
a
I've
psycho
been
mumbling,
piping it
like a
every time
homeless
it
guy
gets stuff
mumbling,
wrong.
running down the street, mumbling to yourself.
Have you ever heard of Eric G. Bay?
Are you gonna let me finish my thought here, or we're just gonna change topics now?
You
Yeah,
would
I've heard of
not let
that
me
guy.
speak
I've seen some of his videos too, actually. Um,
Yeah, he's good, dude.
can I just talk about the Google Earth thing? I'm like, I got one more minute and I'm done with it.
Go ahead, buddy. This is killing me though. This is literally
You're
killing me.
not even the moderator. I wasn't asking your permission to go with it. I was asking the
It's just
moderator's permission.
hard. It's hard. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, troubling. I'm sorry. It's just
Yeah,
hard for me.
let him get it. Let him get it out. He really wants to tell
I
us something.
will. It's been like
Yeah.
20 minutes now. All right, go ahead.
20 minutes? Oh my God. It's been like not even like 6. And half
I'm
of that was
sorry.
you interrupting.
I'm
Okay, so
sorry. Go ahead. Go
Google
ahead.
Earth. If you think there's some conspiracy that like the data is wrong or whatever, right? You can like download the individual JPEG image tiles from Google themselves and store it on your own computer. And you can go into your own neighborhood and like measure what's the length of my street from this intersection to this intersection, and you can measure the dimensions of your house, and you can project that onto these images and find that it's accurate. Like there's an accuracy to the scale
On the
of the
small
image you're
scale, it
looking at.
is, but nobody's doing that over the oceans, and you
Right.
can make any
So,
distance over that, and who's going to check it?
oh, I'm not okay, but you can download these individual tiles, right? And just take like you can try to make a model, a flat Earth model using the flat Earth map in
What if
3D
they left some tiles out?
and left some tiles out.
Yeah, what if they left some data tiles out of some ocean?
Then you would see it missing on both the Google Earth app, and you would see it missing
No, I'm
in
saying,
the
like, what if they
flat
took
Earth
some
plan
out
that
to
is
make it
using
fit
Google.
the globe? Like over the ocean, and we just have no idea about it.
Okay, that's one idea, but let me just finish what I'm saying here, which is that if you try to just take the flat Earth model, like you can clearly see like a coordinate space of where, let's say, the state of Texas is on your flat Earth model, and like what kind of shape Texas looks like in the flat Earth model, right? And so you could take just Texas, right? Just take one thing. It doesn't have to be the whole Earth, and then try to project that into the coordinate system that is used on the flat Earth model. And what you're going to end up seeing is when you zoom in, even though you're the one handling the exact JPEG image files, and you're not, you built the app, you just downloaded individual JPEG image files that aren't like they're static files. You'll see that there's going to be a bunch of skewing, like things are just going to be blown up or squished in because it doesn't fit that coordinate system.
Yeah, all this is based off a huge presupposition that that the data that you're getting from Google is completely accurate, and that it wouldn't fit with the flat Earth
You
map,
can
which you haven't even
you can
demonstrated
zoom
yet. So
in.
there's really,
You
I mean,
can zoom
honestly,
in.
there's no
I'm
point even
asking you
talking
to
about it. You
only
haven't
take.
demonstrated
I'm
this.
asking you to only take the data you can verify with your own eyes. You can zoom in on the scale and see and measure things and see
But
that
can we agree, and I
it's the
understand
correct
that, but
distance.
can we agree that the measurement of the land, regardless of how big I can get it, doesn't mean anything because they can just make up the distance on the ocean, which I'm not measuring?
Okay, I have to think about that one, but I'm just saying, take your coordinate system. You have your own coordinate system on your flat Earth model. What I'm asking is how to test. I'm putting your model to the test, your flat Earth model to the test. You can take these images that you can verify with your own eyes just by pulling up a random sample of, like, have a bunch of people go through 1 million of these tiles and just verify nothing looks funny, like they look like real pictures of a neighborhood up high, and like they're to scale,
Yeah, but it
and
just
then
doesn't mean
put them
anything
in
though.
the
So I don't even
coordinate
know why I
system.
would, because I can't do it over the ocean.
What do you mean it doesn't mean anything? What do you
Because
mean it doesn't mean anything? You have a coordinate system, don't you? Like, you know what coordinates are, like north, west, east,
yes, I'm
latitude,
aware.
longitude, right? Does your flat Earth model have some kind of coordinate system?
Yeah, and it's the same exact coordinates that you guys have, except for when you get to
Right,
the southern hemisphere. I'm in the northern. I'm have to
right.
travel all the way to the south to see any kind of
Exactly,
difference.
exactly. So take coordinate A and coordinate B. Coordinate A is like the beginning of one end of a street, and coordinate B is the other end of the street. And I measure the street. This street is,
Are we gonna do this like cross
3,000 feet
continent, man?
long.
I'm not getting it. Are we doing this cross continent, or am I
You
just
could
doing
do
it
it
on
to
my
the
street?
entire. You could do it to the entire Earth, but I'm just saying you could prove the flat Earth wrong just by going to like a neighborhood in some random state where you
I,
can
I
verify
think you're.
that, like.
I think you might be mistaken on that. I think that the local area is not gonna. You're not gonna be able to verify that in the immediate local area. I think you're gonna have to go some
Yes,
distance to see some
yeah.
curvature, and if not, we've tried
It's
to
not about
measure it.
no. It's not. You're not going to see curvature in it. What I'm trying to propose to you is that you are creating a 3D representation of a flat Earth model, which has its own coordinate system, but that coordinate system has a different shape than the round Earth model does. And so, because that coordinate system, the same coordinate system, has a different shape, it's like sort of like the idea of,
Oh,
like,
I know what you
you
mean, dude.
peel
We
an
literally
orange.
have that on the flat Earth. So
It
that clock app I'm telling you about literally has that.
I know it has the coordinates on it, but what you don't seem to understand is, like, if let's say I have an orange and I peel an orange and I try to lay out the skin of the orange flat on the table, you're going to get some very distorted, weird
Oh my
shape.
god!
And
Straight from
what I'm trying to
fucking the
say,
cats.
what I'm trying
Kill
to say
mine.
is, what I'm trying to say is, that take the coordinate system. This is like a geometry and math. Uh, and project your images into that coordinate system. You can just build a neighborhood, and you're going to find great amounts of distortion. Like you're going to see houses like all stretched and shit. It's not going to
I
work.
mean, I see that. If I'm being real with you, man, I see that now on Google Earth. I do see images cut together and some images stretched, and I'll probably do a whole video on that. But yeah, I mean, I think that
you're
it's just.
you're talking about some anomaly, like some one random like.
Well, that's what just
place
that's just
of
what
Earth.
we've listen. If that's happening, I mean, we could literally just call it that. If that happens on ours, and then it's literally
But
again not proof of anything.
But if we look at some neighborhood in Texas and we both look through the image tiles from Google Earth and we verify that, yeah, these look like they're not distorted, and we can set up some kind of scale and it seems like appropriate, like we can measure stuff, then what I'm saying is then you put that into the coordinate system for a flat Earth. I
Being
think you haven't
exactly the
like
same.
researched that very much. Like it's a whole like math and geometry thing to understand how to do map
No, it's
projections and how
literally.
to.
I think you're trying to make it way more
But
complicated than it is, and it would literally be the exact same thing. But
it's a really
if
complicated
you're
thing.
working on this stuff because you claim to have the expertise, I don't. I'm not big on the computers. I don't know coding. I don't know software. So if
Right.
you would make something like that, I'd love to have you back on the show and see what you got.
Well,
Let us scrutinize
but if
it.
I made it and I showed you that it's all fucked up, you would just say that I'm like part of the conspiracy. I'm just like I'm a
Well, it's open
liar or
source
whatever.
coding,
Like,
right? I
you wouldn't
mean,
believe.
if it's open source, I mean, we'll just let it be scrutinized.
Yeah. Oh, sure. It could be open source, sure. But I mean, it's kind of amazing that there's not like a whole lot of flat earthers that are software engineers in the world. Like,
Well, that's the thing.
why
I
aren't there?
brought up an example of the flat Earth Sun Moon app that you can literally zoom in on a map that works perfectly fine, has the coordinates and everything, and even shows you other people using the map and their general location. So all that works.
Yeah, but
I mean,
it
you just
doesn't
have
have
to
satellite
simulate it.
imagery overlaid on it. So you don't notice any of the warping if you don't have satellite imagery overlaid on it.
But you haven't even looked at it.
I'm asking you, does it have satellite imagery on it?
Go outside away from Google. Doesn't work.
I'm asking, does the app you're talking about, does it have satellite imagery on it?
I'm not sure, but that's a red herring anyway. I thought you said we didn't need to send something up and get that.
Yo,
And if
I
we just
believe
rely on Google Earth and they
You
leak some stuff
don't
out
have
over
to
the
send
ocean.
your own. You don't have to send your own like airplane up to take the pictures. Like you can just zoom in on the Google Earth versions, even though you're
Not if they left some stuff out.
skeptical of it, and see
If we're scrutinizing Google and checking Google, why would we use their data and not generate our own?
because you can validate it independently on your own. You don't. It's just a fucking picture, man. Like
It won't be
you can
validated if we
validate
don't. It won't be validated if we
guys,
don't.
if flat Earth wasn't real, then how come when we have a rainbow, it does the dome shape? Let me answer that for me.
I don't even know what your question is, man.
Because when we have rain, it has a rainbow, right? And when you see the rainbow, it's the shape of a dome. We do live in a flat Earth, bro.
And
No
when you're in an
one's
airplane,
been in space. No one's been in space. NASA faked the moon landing, bro.
Okay, and when you're in an airplane and you have the shadow of the airplane cast onto a cloud, it makes a complete circle rainbow.
Yes,
You know that?
flat Earth is growing. You can't stop us.
Then answer me this. How come sometimes I see the moon when the sun is out? Answer me that.
Fuck yeah.
Because the moon is rotating around the Earth, and sometimes you see it. Like I don't.
Or it's rotating
I
above
love
the Earth,
like
and sometimes you see them both.
yo, bro.
Yeah, but how does that disprove a round
Yo.
Earth model if you see the moon and the sun at the same time?
Sorry, it doesn't disprove anything, in my opinion. I think the lights in the sky are a terrible way to determine the shape of the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. Flat Earth for life, man. Fuck the dome, man. Fucking globe tards.
We try to keep it somewhat friendly. There's nothing wrong with little bands, but we gotta let each other
It just,
talk.
dude, it just really
so.
ticks me off when people go around saying the Earth is like a globe, man. If the Earth was a globe, like, how would I be able to walk flat all day, every day, and never go around any sort of curvature? You know what I mean?
Because of gravity.
Talking right now.
Facts, bro.
Who was that just now?
It's
I was just
me.
answering his question. I said gravity.
It's like if the Earth, it doesn't make sense because it's almost like they design planes and things for space travel based around the gravitational dimensions of the planet that they're lifting off of, almost. So it's like kind of crazy how those work, but the rest of it,
What I think is
the rest of
crazy
it's
is
flat
how
Earth for
people
life,
assume
bro.
that downward acceleration pulls things into spheres. That's
Downward
just me.
acceleration pulls things into spheres.
Yeah, like you
Yeah,
guys
because
call gravity.
if it becomes larger, it doesn't make everything into a sphere. It makes very large things into spheres because if you get
Something.
enough matter, the mass is the force is so strong that it pushes things into a spherical shape.
It's a
Are you
cool
talking
story.
about? Are you talking about like that's why the Earth's round, or that's why it's flat?
Yeah, he had said like I don't understand why gravity would make things spherical. They don't make everything spherical. I mean, like I'm not a spherical thing, right?
But we
But
had like
Bro.
the gravitational measure thing, the bob. We have people have stood next to mountains with those, and they don't pull sideways. So I mean, the idea that it's mass attracting mass is, I mean, it's pretty easy to debunk.
they don't pull
It's just
sideways.
it's just going down. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't
That's
pull
because
sideways. It just goes down.
it's going towards the center of mass. Because like why would it pull next to if you're standing next to a mountain,
Because the mountain
it
is
wouldn't
huge.
point towards a mountain
But hold on. If it doesn't work with a mountain, but it works with lead balls in Roboth or in Cavendish's shed, come on.
So, wait, guys. Who here
I
is
don't even know what you're
pro
saying.
flat Earth?
What?
Which one of you is the globy?
BT is the globy.
BT, you fucking globy. So explain to me this. Explain to me this, globy.
Yeah.
If the Earth is round, did you ever consider that it looks like that from space because it's from a top-down angle and it's actually flat like a plate?
I don't even know what your question like is.
It's not a question. Well, it kind of is a question, Bob. I'm just saying, like, if you look at the Earth from space, you're looking at it from down, yeah. So it's not actually round. It just looks round, like if you're looking at a plate which is flat, but it looks round from the top. That's
You know
exactly
what also looks round from outer space?
what
Things that are spherical.
No way, bro. No. See, that's factually incorrect.
You don't think a spherical object would look round?
I absolutely. What do you mean, bro?
just shine a light onto a basketball in a dark room.
Yeah, and I get a shot of a basketball.
I believe the
shadow of a
firmament
basketball.
closes in on us, the less oxygen we have on our planet.
Yeah, man, for real. Facts, bro.
Host, but let me just try to understand what you're asking about the mountain thing, gravity in the mountain. Is like the mountain does have gravity. All matter has gravity, but like if you're next to a mountain, the mountain is still pales in comparison to the size of the entire Earth. So gravity is going to attract to the center of the mass of the Earth.
Can I address that though? So, are you aware of the Cavendish experiment?
Not off the top of my head. If you talk to me about it, maybe I am.
Okay, so it's the proof of gravity, supposedly, that Cavendish did by putting the lead balls next to hanging lead balls that was on a string that was
Kind
able
of
to
like how
spin.
when I hang my balls on your mother's face.
All right, homie, can't have that. Sorry.
Wow. Wow.
Maybe next time. I won't kick you next time, but don't say anything that might get me kicked. So.
Wow. Yeah, some people.
All right. But yeah, so Cavendish did an experiment where he took lead balls and he was trying to. It's really funny, lead balls. Where he's trying to get the measure of gravity between the balls, and you would tell it because the string lets them move freely. So when they had them hanging and it wasn't moving, when they moved the lead balls closer, it made it spin towards the metal balls. Okay, so that's the experiment. Are you familiar with that?
I don't even understand. I don't. Your description doesn't really make sense. I'm gonna look this up.
Sure. I can be terrible at
Cavendish?
descripting things sometimes.
Is it Cavendish?
Yes.
I mean, for all I know, this experiment's been like debunked or something. So I got to read about it.
I think it is debunked, but I'll let you read it. It's taught in school as the proof of gravity. This was the scientific. This was the variable tested.
Well, I went to school and I've never heard of it.
I thought they used a anvil and a mercury to prove non-existence of gravity, or was it you talking about the tinfoil and the non-gravity machine? And then he was like pouring like the anti-gravity or whatever, like
No,
the matter
I'm
on
talking
top
about
of.
strings and metal balls, bro, in a shed. And they didn't even want to get close to it. He was like he was trying to view the results through a window, supposedly. It was freaking funny, the story of it.
Of him trying. That's weird.
Because he didn't want
Lead
his
balls.
gravity to interfere with the experiment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then he chopped
dumb.
it up to a failure because then he was like, yeah, but the gravity of the shed and everything else is just like
Yeah.
I can't isolate the variable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Is that the gravity is just a word we use for the non-knowing of what is the pull that keeps us down, but in reality, we know what it is. It's the constant electromagnetic matter between the sun, the moon, and the North Pole, and it's constantly, flowing, going in there. And where my confusion is if there's a North Pole, there has to be like a South Pole or something that's coming out of the drain.
There are monopole magnets. I looked it up the other day. I thought the same thing. I was like, man, there kind of has to be a South Pole, right? Because that's just how magnets work. And then I looked it up, and that's actually not the case. There is such thing as monopole magnets.
Because
But you can't trust Google, though.
world, you can't trust anything. If the world has ended before in the mud flood in the 1800s, if the world has had natural catastrophes said to be by aliens or meteorites that killed the dinosaurs, giants, whatever you want to believe in, I believe in giants, in my personal opinion. But then you have to go back so fucking far. It's just so dumb. I kind of lost train of thought because just the idea that the giants could have created, this little fucking puddle we live in, like, so here you go, we're walking this little puddle right here, fucking take the sun, give them their atmosphere, like that's our god or whatever. Like, no, like, I think there's like happenstance. This is just either a big bang, and we're on a giant fucking floating ice ball where we can only measure from one side to another that's flat, because like is it a short space on a ball like flat at a point? Haven't we tested this? Like just one part of a ball, isn't it like flat at some point at a microscopic level? What if we are just like not? What if we are just exaggerating how big we are? Like, what if
I've
we
heard
are
it
actually
said that
just,
we'd have to be 1,000 times bigger if that were the case.
yeah, like I believe we're so fucking tiny, just tiny. Like the new humans now, look at all the athletes and stuff, like in the NBA and like the WNBA, like all of them, like they're all freaking tall. Like like I'm 5'8". Like I'm not gonna lie, like I am average. Like people like so I can believe in giants. Like maybe a giant person can't believe in giants, or maybe that person believes in giants being a giant, seeing smaller people. Like you just can't help not believing in bigger things. Like what if we are just like spawn of spawn of spawn of spawn of spawn, and we just have lost the way because they've taken all of our knowledge and they've stored it away in these Vaticans and in these vaults and underground tunnels, like, and like they just feed us to the giants. Like I'm thinking bigger than all this. Like I'm not trying to wake up any more than I already have. I'm trying to figure out the answers to the stuff I've woken up on. Like what is outside of our ice wall? Are there giants and where are they? Were we fighting them in Afghanistan? Like that's what if like Kandahar giants or whatever. Like maybe that's what the
These are all
Chinese
just
built
like
the wall.
stories you're reading on the internet. There's like no actual evidence for anything you're saying. like giants and something in
Giant
Afghanistan. Like, where the fuck do you
giant.
get this shit, man? This is such crazy conspiratorial thinking. Where's the
Oh,
evidence for
conspiracy.
where's the evidence for some giants? Let's see that.
Giants.
Yeah,
There's
some
evidence for
giants
giants
alive
all
today.
around.
Like, yeah, how do you define giants and you know, are we how do you think you know, what's the evidence we were fighting giants in Afghanistan?
What's the
Like,
evidence of dinosaurs? Like, like there's
okay,
evidence
change the
in
topic.
there's, there's evidence there had to have been a bigger person to build the freaking Noah's Ark. Like he had to have been a bigger dude. Like
Oh my
it wasn't
God.
just an average size. Like in
Noah's
biblical
Ark
times,
is
these people
a
were
fairy
gods.
tale.
These people were gods. Romans, the Greeks, they literally like they projected these people as gods. They were fucking huge. That's why they found huge books. What person would
Is
pack
there
around a 5 or 6 foot tall book? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why?
Oh my
Come
God,
on.
man, you're just rambling on nonsense.
That was one thing good.
You,
He said
you
we
want,
found giant
you want
books.
the only thing that's what?
No, I was just
What was
agreeing
that?
with you. You said we found giant books.
Yeah.
What other
That's like
giant stuff have we
you
found?
you take little facts and you put them in, and that's what creates truth. You don't take something that's wrong and put in something that's right because it's fucking doesn't work. So you only take truths and you try to fit them in at little places like a puzzle where they fit in. And so that's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out, what the fuck is going on. Like I've been grounding outside, and they say grounding is good. Barefoot in the grass, all day, outside, and it's supposed to be you're supposed to connect to nature, and it makes you less cold in nature, it makes you less, and so I'm just trying to figure out everything out. Like, why did they say in the Bible, like, don't get too high or for to the sun, or it's gonna melt your wings. Like, don't get too close to the water, it's gonna wet your wings or whatever. Like this, like that doesn't make any sense. Like all this, he must have been really fucking high for the fucking sun to melt his wings from just wax. You can't just leave. You can leave wax out in the sun. It's not just gonna melt. Like, it had to have been really fucking hot.
What
He was
part of
taking
the
little
what part of
bits.
the world are you in?
I'm on the west coast, northern west coast.
Nice. I'm over
Yeah,
here in Florida, so it's freaking dark out already.
yeah. The sun's coming back around. It should be with you in about 7 hours, like, probably. Like, rising. Like, it's still there. You can just see like it hit like off the clouds, right? Like, look at these clouds aren't as shiny as those clouds, right? It's because these clouds are farther away from these clouds. It's like
So simple.
it's so fucking,
Yeah.
dude. It's like, what do we have to do, man?
Well,
What do we have to do?
you have to take it out of the realm of platitudes and try
They
to make
they
it
will
as
not.
digestible as you
What
can.
has We have to develop our own NASA. We have to show them the science that they want to see, and that's what it's going to take. They want NASA to just feed them that giant
What if,
NASA D,
here's the funny
and
thing. What if we just used all the same math that was working and just changed the name?
right?
Like,
Just
would they
change the
even
name.
fucking know? Like, here it is. Here's the math.
Yeah, and it's not NASA. It's Flata.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
actually just gotta. I've heard that you just gotta look at physics and stuff from pre 1950, and you can actually find equations for buoyancy without gravity and all this other stuff that still
but
works. You can still
they
use.
hide these knowledge. They hide it. They hide it.
Yeah, Google's not a friend of a researcher. That's for sure.
And if you find it, then Buffalo shooting. That's all I'm gonna say. Buffalo shooting incident with that guy that created the motor. Like, you know, oh, it was a happenstance that he just happened to be one of the people. Oh yeah, sure. Like,
What about the NASA employee who was killed by NASA, and then his wife and kids were then also one of them survived, but they were also killed by NASA on a NASA train. Um, and shortly after, and nobody talks about that at all. It's like, oh yeah, you don't trust NASA? Like,
Right? I don't trust that.
it's like, where's the whistleblowers? Oh, you mean that guy who hung the lemon on the door and then got locked in the freaking simulator and burned to death?
Go get your ball. Oh, I'm trying to talk here. Dude, yeah, like you can just take all like now I'm just surprised NASA, the CIA, FBI, NSA, WHO, all these places and NATO, all these organizations. I'm surprised they're even still going. How the fuck? Like this is what we have the freaking Constitution for. This is what we have. Like you're supposed to gather militia. We're supposed to suit up, have fucking field kits ready for every fucking person. Like and just like yeah, like the majority says this way. The majority says this way, and that's how you make a change. Because that's what they're doing. They're saying, "Oh, the majority, we're swinging everybody to this ideology, and we're getting this like because that's how it works. We're getting all because one person's gonna be like, I'm gonna stand up for our rights, and then 10 more people are gonna be like, no, you listen to those cops. Those cops are here for your safety. It's like no, like oh my god, people just aren't gonna get it, bro. I honestly have and almost I've given up in society. I've given up.
That's sad.
Simple as that. I'm gonna live the fruits of the land. I'm gonna live. I'm gonna travel. I'm just gonna go with my dog. You're gonna see me all probably brown like the travelers are, like just from where. And like I'm gonna be one of those people because this world, man. I went to a job. I had a job. I was just a salesman. I was just selling fire alarm systems, and dude, like I had a dude tell me straight to my face he's voting for AOC. I was like, are you fucking serious? That's like you literally just told me you're voting for Biden again. Like literally. Like literally, bro. Like you literally just told me you're voting for Kamala Harris. You just told me you're voting for another fucking Obama. Like you are just I don't get it, man. Like and I had another person tell me that I thought she was like intellectual and stuff, and she told me like, oh no, Russia's the bad guy. Ever since the Soviet Union, like they were bad. Like, and I was like, yeah, they were bad, but they fucking their people took over and they stopped all that shit, and then they spent over 2 million people, just like they slaughtered got 2 million of their people slaughtered fighting off the Nazis before we even intervened. Like man.
I'm gonna take a second. I gotta plug this real quick. This is my sponsor. I've kind of been neglecting them, but I know that everybody hates this part of the show, so I'll make it super duper quick. But everybody, when you get a chance, go over to truthsmacks.com. Get yourself a bag of Truth Smacks. They are delicious. Spreading truth one delicious morsel at a time. They are trail mix for those who don't know. If you go on to truthsmacks.com and go to the resource page, you can find all sorts of great resources and links to information regarding flat Earth, germ theory, all sorts of conspiracies. So go check it out today. All right, that's my plug. Appreciate you.
Fuck yeah, that sounds good, dude. How much are they?
They are only I think they're about $10 online. You get a discount code. If you use discount code SKY at the checkout, you get 10% off the whole order.
Pretty decent bag.
Oh yeah, you can get a 10-ounce bag. You can get 3.5-ounce bag.
Yeah, cool.
Sick.
Sounds good to me. True mix. Yeah, like it's like little advertising like that. See, that's what they're trying to get to ban now. Like they're trying to get people to stop their advertising, stop, selling shirts on the side of the street, that they made themselves, stop selling fuck Biden flags, stop selling, all these things. Like they're trying to get people to just bend over and then buy the main products that they freaking just flushed all this poison into because they had nowhere else to put it. Where are we going to put all our fluoride? Oh, tell them it's good. Put the toothpaste in their water system. It's like, oh my God, dude. People are just, I literally feel like they will, if a government told them they had to, they would take their own life. Like, at this point.
That's
like,
coming.
I'm not even going to,
Global
I'm not even
warming,
gonna lie,
man.
dude. People are just the government would be like, give me your guns, and be like, okay. Now we took your guns. Now we're gonna take you can't say anything ever when you leave the house. It's like, oh, okay, you can't to anyone, especially not our police officers, unless we're asking you a question. Like literally, that's where it's gonna be. And then it's gonna be, oh, like you are going to go to work, and if you do not provide any work, you are going to be executed because you do not provide anything. On a social scale, you are not important. You are just a consumer. And there's a new like pamphlet that's going around that's saying that we need to like kill all the freeloaders. So I'm sorry, you just happen to be on our property today, dead. And then and then people are just going to accept it, like people, because this is what they want. People want structure. They want to feel like they don't have a choice of anything, because we are constantly looking for the answers, right? We're constantly looking towards our North Pole. We're constantly being drawn by something. And when they tell us that this is our purpose, then we're going to believe it, because we believe that there's a God, and that he's white floating on the clouds, all magical. We, like I did, they literally had pictures in my church about it. Like, that's why I fell away from the church. Like, they're like, white Jesus, like, like, white, 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 it's like, God, like, come on, like, us fleet as white as snow, like, it's like all these songs. It's like, and they didn't teach us anything about race at all, like nothing about the slaves in school, like nothing. I'm talking nothing. So like when I got out of, like, when I just 16 years old, when I just quit high school, I was like, holy crap, what did we do to you? Like I had no idea. Nobody said anything. Like, this past year has been a setback for me mentally, like, because I've had to relearn almost everything, and I didn't think I was even going to be able to.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to rework your worldview. Humans are super narcissistic, so we tend to think that we know it all and want to shut out everything that contradicts our worldview. But if you can discover the flat Earth, then that's a huge step in the right direction. What amazes me is how so many people can open their eyes to one aspect of obvious indoctrination, but yet can't see other aspects of indoctrination. That's really everywhere in society, especially here in the West. It's pretty thick with Christian indoctrination and all kinds of just absolutely crazy stuff. And they're
Well,
also
not just Christian, but now they're going against Christian indoctrination. They're going anti-Christian indoctrination. They put
right.
Washington's face, which doesn't, on the Jesus, Washington's face on the quarter. They put him facing away from "In God We Trust" now, and I thought that was like, it has always every president has always faced "In God We Trust" on everything. Like, and now they create a quarter that kind of looks like Biden in my view. Like, what I'm saying? It kind of looks like, I'm serious. No, look at it.
The
I'm
Biden
serious. It
quarter,
kind
I
of looks.
can't
It
even.
does. His hair is like kind of like, like away. Like it looks like he's doesn't have a ponytail, but he does. It's attached, right? Like it's fake. Like, I'm serious. Have you seen the quarter? Like
Mhm.
the new 2022 quarter. Like, uh, and I'm pretty sure it might have been even 2021. I don't know what year the quarter was made. I think there might have been. I think it's just 2022. But this quarter's fucking, like, you'll, when you see it, you'll next to it an old one, you'll be like, wow, like the face is completely different, hair structure is different, everything's different about this quarter, and he's facing away from the God we trust. So that's a big sign right there, like, that we're going into some hellish, biblical. Like, this is going to be biblical. Like, my dad has been saying that for years now. And he's
Well,
like, it's going to
I
be
believe
biblical.
in
What does that mean?
I believe in problem reaction solution. I think that they push things one way to get the momentum going for the opposition of that. And then when the opposition gets going, they then utilize that momentum to try to consolidate power further. So
Yeah.
I think that as far as like politics go, Republican, Democrat, there's two sides of the same shitty bird. Uh,
Okay, yeah.
so
Like, what if it was like this? What if it was like this? Like, like, okay, Trump was president, right? But they're like, we have to do something dramatic right now. And they're like, why? It's like, because Russia is being too friendly with us. Like China's being too friendly with us. Like the people love these places now. Like everything's good, but it's not good. We need conflict. It's like, how do we create conflict? Well, get Trump out of there. Let's put this Biden guy in. Okay, he's gonna just fuck everything up. Okay, we're gonna impeach Trump. We're gonna fuck everything up, and then that way Trump isn't blamed. Okay. Oh, Biden died. Fuck. Put Biden number two in. Okay, now Biden number two's in. Okay, now okay, like his earlobes are all different. You can tell, you can match them up. Jawline's different. Everything's different about
One
these two
second.
Bidens. Like,
Sir Rom, send me that map if you would. I appreciate it. Hold on, and another one. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna start taking comments. This one came up a few times that I wanted to address real quick. Just real
Jim.
briefly. Coriolis effect. You have some question with it. Yeah, my question would be, why is it so selective, right? If you think that we have to account for that, the thing is that it's not acting on all the forces. You say it spins underneath bullets. You say the Earth is spinning underneath storms and all this other stuff. But how is it that you get up in a hot air balloon or you take a plane and the flight times going east or west are not different? But they should be if the Coriolis effect is real. So just chew on that, and we'll get back to the conversation.
that is a good idea, because if we were center, then of his little idea, right? If we were center of his little idea, and I'm just like, then we would be Polaris. Polaris would be us, because it would be, that's just where it would be at. Because if we are center, then the center star of our universe, of our celestial system, is Polaris. So that's kind of iffy, because Polaris isn't really directly in front of us, but then again, I'm not directly in the center of the North Pole. If I was directly in the center of the North Pole, maybe that star would be directly above, and that's my way of thinking, which does make sense, because if you can, I think you could, can you travel directly underneath the star? That's a good question. That's what I want answered. Like, that's one of my questions I'm gonna try to figure out later on. But yeah, back to our original thoughts. Like, you can go ahead, like, because I kind of trailed off.
Oh, no, you're fine. I'm going to go ahead and take us back on topic because, the biggest thing here for Monday is the flat earth truth. And there are tons of people in here that still do not realize this obvious, blaring fact in their face. They think it's pseudoscience without even understanding what the definition of pseudoscience is. So I'll go ahead and educate some of y'all who do not know. Pseudoscience is defined as something masquerading as science, meaning that it has gone through the scientific method, but in fact has not. So when we're looking at the beliefs of flat Earth versus globe Earth, and we're comparing them to pseudoscience and real science, it becomes very, very obvious that the globe Earth is what is pseudoscientific. If you read the actual quotes from physicists and cosmologists from the field, then you'll actually see that they admit that they do not use the scientific method. Michio Kaku literally said, "Nobody in my field does the scientific method. It's guesswork. It's equations. It's flying by the seat of our pants. That's not science. That's pseudoscience. I'm sorry, globe earthers. But your model, your cosmology is pseudoscience." All right. Keep going through here. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Zay, we do know the globe Earth model better than 90% of globers. It's 100% accurate. Science-based skeptic of authority, based in truth. Appreciate the help in the comments here. You're hammering it. I see you. I see you. Let's see if we got anything else in here that needs addressed. What kind of dog is that?
Husky lab.
Adorable. I got 3 dogs myself.
Really? What kind?
I got 2 Pomeranians and a mutt.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What's the mutt?
It's a like blue heeler pit bull.
Okay.
We're not sure. It's a
Is it like Is it like all mixed brown, gray, white, black?
No, no, it's
No.
she's Brindle.
Oh, okay. Brindle, is that like light brown? What's that?
Yeah, it's like the brown with the black striping in it.
Yeah, okay. So not like him, but like a rock color.
Right. Big Zach,
Okay,
you
I
can't
see.
have 24-hour sun in Antarctica on a flat Earth. That's interesting. Do you have evidence of a
What?
24-hour sun in Antarctica?
I have evidence of a 24-hour light, and like it's light for 24 hours all the way around because of the altitude he's in. Um,
I was reading.
I've seen videos of that. So
I've seen people.
that
I've seen
totally
people.
believes.
It looks like it's faked, but I mean, I'm open to evidence. Let's see what you got. And I would still say again, the lights in the ceiling don't mean anything about the shape of the floor. Measure the shape of the floor, you'll see it. It's not curving. So, and if you go on Google, it's actually really easy to see the curvature rate. I know that we get strawmanned all the time. They say flat earthers are liars. They're using a parabolic approximation. But if the thing is that if you go on Google right now and you type in what is the curvature of Earth, it will tell you that the curvature of Earth is 8 inches per square mile. And even if it is a parabolic approximation, it's good up to 500 miles. So,
The
no,
second they change the
the longest,
second they change the math, ooh, it's
yeah,
just gonna be hell for him.
they,
Dude, this
the
dude,
longest distance photography we have is at 250 miles right now. So, our parabolic approximation will work just fine. We see way too far almost every time. And you can figure out a ton about the floor from the ceiling. Jordan Nestro, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Do you have enough followers? Because I'm pretty sure that's poppycock. That's BS. Up to
I can
3,000. My
listen to
bad.
the.
Based in truth. Thanks for the correction. I thought it was only 500. I was like, 500 is good enough, right? That's more than enough. More than enough. Nobody is taking 1,000-mile photography shots across the Earth through all that atmosphere. Atmos plane.
I would like to believe that stars are like, just other suns reflected off of our giant, like infinite plane. But at the same time, there's so much, that debunks that or that they've put that debunks it that I can't even like because that's what I want to believe. I want to believe that it's like why would Polaris be at the north? Like always be at the north. What's so special about Polaris? What's so special about the north? Maybe the Polaris is our sun and that's like the reflection it gives off of on our night sky every night because it's so far away. Like, who knows? I don't know. Like because that's what I want to believe in my thinking. If I didn't know any science or anything, that's what I would have thought. Just like springing up, like, oh, that one's not moving. Like, okay, we follow it. Where does it go?
For sure.
Are we supposed to jump inside the north like hole like place that they've restricted?
I have no freaking
What would
idea.
happen?
I've heard of stories from Flat Earth Paradise about hyperbole or whatever the heck it's called.
I've heard stories about them going through, like Admiral Byrd going through into this like place in paradise, and they've met this like indigenous people, and they were just guided down slowly, like by like space, like planes or whatever, like a non gravity, and then they were like, I've heard stories, man, like I've seen like of stories that they say of were from these people, but I don't know, man. That means like Jules Verne is real and shit, and I'd have to reread all those. Like
Didn't Jules
that would mean,
Verne didn't Jules Verne write the first moon book? Like I can't remember what it was called, but the one that the moon landing was based off of.
yeah. Who was the guy that filmed the moon landing?
Uh, conspiracy theorists believe that it's Stanley Kubrick.
Oh yeah, yeah, Stanley Kubrick. Yeah, he already came out and said that he might have got the idea from that, because I mean, when were the books written? And were the books written after or before the idea of the moon landing? And the idea that we have only as proof of that, like the first moon landing, is when it happened. So, like the who was it? Nixon, like, right? I can't remember who was it. Reagan, Nixon, like talking to the people on the moon with the landline. That was hilarious. Who was that? Who was that? I can't remember what president. I have to do more research. It's been
Nixon was the one who was on the phone.
Nixon. Okay, yeah, Nixon.
Delay.
On a landline, bro. Did you know that? What's the percentage? 90-something% of all like internet cables are done by cords, and they're in the ocean. Like that's why you can make calls, to all these different continents, is because they're in the ocean.
Did you know
Like,
that when it comes to those undersea cables, I'm glad you brought it up. We have the
yeah,
schematics, for the cables lined out in the northern hemisphere, but we barely run.
yeah, or
I don't think we run any
I think
cables in the southern hemisphere.
I think they're on top. I think they're on top. They're floaters, and I think you can run into them when you have a boat headed to Antarctica. So you have to be careful, and that's partly what they're guarding. They're guarding the internet cables. They're guarding. Yeah, I want a motorcycle so I can just piss off half the world. They're guarding all the stuff that's out there. You wouldn't believe, like, they're literally guarding the they're succubuses, man. They're taking all of our resources on the other side of the ice wall, all the way around, everywhere where there is giant pockets of minerals, right? And they're drilling, all of it, like, and it's third world people that they're hiring to do it, and then they get locals to manufacture, like in small towns like here, we're off the coast, like, and they just follow the rivers right when they get into land. They just follow the rivers with these giant shipment containers, and they just, from one state to another, like split states, like California and Oregon, and like Washington and Oregon, those are split states. You can just go between both of these states, and basically like give each state, like all the supplies. And I've seen it. Like I can get. Well, I can probably do it. No, I don't want to do it tonight. I can show you later on at the river, shipping containers just sitting there, just waiting to get further down, because further down is where more production is, that way. So from west, this is west. The sun is setting, to me, in the west right now. And it's just going to keep going, obviously up north, which is there. North is this way. It's going to come back around. And it just goes all the way through Oregon and Washington. I watched this shit on Google Maps. Like you can look on, this is stuff you can find actually on Google Maps. You can look on the ice walls and you can find the containers in these little places. I forgot what. Let me look at the place. I'm gonna find what the name of this place is. Can I do this while?
Yeah, sure. You probably had to tag out for just a second to try to pull it up. You able to do it?
Nope. You couldn't hear me.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, copy that. It cut me off. And I would go look.
It's all good.
I would have to leave the whole.
Have it prepared for next time. I'm actually, because it's 11:30 where I'm at. It's getting pretty late, so I'm about to go ahead and call it. But I definitely appreciate everybody stopping by. Thanks for joining the conversation. We're trying to have some more guests in. We welcome everybody's differing opinion. Feel free to spout it, back it up. We will change it ourselves. So we appreciate everybody coming by. Feel free to give me a follow. Smash the like button one last time on our way out the door. And we will see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until next time.